It is a use case for semantic media wiki. Well, I work at the KTZ, that's the Center for Public Administration Research in Vienna, Austria, and as I've mentioned, I've done a lot of work with semantic media wiki. I'm not a programmer. I do semantic media wiki projects for clients. What is the starting point? The starting point is, interestingly, I have no previous deep knowledge about these things, so I'm learning this as I go along. So there's a growing general interest in antiquarianism and historiography, and numismatics, that's the science of coins, of ancient coins, is an important part in that. And up to now, this research has mainly been based on studying printed books, but there is also much more information in libraries that is not in printed books, but in so-called manuscripts. So manuscripts of books that were never published because, I don't know, publishing was not so easy back then, I guess, in the 16th or 17th century. So there are manuscripts of books, there are translations of books, there are annotations in manuscripts of some ancient scientist who annotated some others, the manuscript of someone else. So, and for this, there was this, or there is this project. This is not working. Oh, it is working, but it's not visible. It's okay. By the Austrian Academy of Sciences, it's called FINA, and don't click on this yet because you will go. You will find the FINA website, but not the FINA Wiki. The FINA Wiki is finished and ready, but it's not deployed yet. So it is on the internet, but I didn't bring the link now because the link is going to change, and it's on a development machine that's not as fast as I want it to be for a presentation. So my excuse is that I will not show you the real thing, but I have some screenshots. And the interesting situation now was the following. There is a Word document edited by Professor François de Calatay, who is who started in 2011 and put together this evidence in this Word document. So the Word document, this is the main page. This is just an image. And this Word document has 917 pages. So it's really huge. There are some transcriptions of numismatic passages of the letters that these old scientists wrote each other. So they wrote each other letters about coins and about collections, and these parts are edited in this Word document. And around 4,000 of those records are recorded in this way, and it is as the scientists say, even only a third of what is potentially available. So, and these professors, they invited the scientific community they sent them the Word document and said, if you have additions, please send it to us. Please do not use the track changes. Use separate documents because we are working on this. We will have problems in integrating this into one document. So this 917 pages document is around. So this is now what the FINA Wiki looks like. And this is mainly what the content is. It is about annotated printed books. It is about copies or translations of printed books. It is about catalogs of numismatic collections, manuscripts of unpublished works, and then the main part is the correspondence. So it's about letters that people send each other. And then there, of course, if you look at this content, you see there are persons, of course, there are institutions because the institutions are holding the original sources. There is literature that writes about these findings. There are timelines, maps, there's a glossary, there are statistics, so I will show this to you. And this is what my media wiki looks like, you know. We've just talked during the break. thank you to Stefan Gamke. This is Chameleon without any CSS thing. So this is out-of-the-box Chameleon. There was no money for doing any web design. So this is Chameleon out of the box. It uses Twitter Bootstrap, so it's a pretty neat interface, I would say, without much effort. And now here on the right, you can see these entries in the Word document. Polini, Giovanni lived from here to there, wrote to somebody else on the 21st of April, and he wrote about this, and then the next letter, and then the next letter. So this was how it was in the Word document. And basically, this is what this letter now looks like. Christophe Plantin wrote to Stephen Winard Piggy on February 6th, 1574, and he wrote it in Vienna. The associated persons is Hubert, I cannot read it here, well, whatever, because he's mentioned. So there is a sender, there is a recipient, and they're writing about a third person. So, and it is written in Latin, and there is a keyword, Greek, because of some reason. And then there is this part of the document that is really the original part is put in there, and there are references and all that. So, and of course for editing, I use Yaron's page form extensions. I almost always use it. So why? Because hardly I find any use cases where we will design our ontology as we go. This is, in my use cases, not the case. In my use cases, we think about the ontology beforehand. We make up our minds of what form elements we want to have, what attributes we want to have, and then we design it, and then people can fill in the content. So you have these great page forms, also with a map that can be shown, and with the token inputs and all that, and there could be annotations in several languages. For example, in this grand document, as it's called, there are some annotations from a researcher done in English, some are in French, and they are just copied in here so that they are online. Yeah, we also use the semantic site extensions for that you probably know, where the citation is stored semantically. And the literature, there is a separate form also for the literature. It has a BibTeX export and RDF export, which comes out of the box with Semantic Media Wiki. And a person page, and now this is maybe the more interesting part. For the first time, I used the Mermaid extension to do this visualization of the correspondence. So you can see that Christophe Plantin, to our knowledge currently, has only written these two letters here. There is the basic data about the person. There is pictures that you can upload. There is an export possibility. And then on the right-hand side, this is nothing that you enter on the person page. These are queries that are done. So there is one query, show me the map with the birth and the death place. Show me the literature of this, where this person is mentioned. Show me his own work and show me references in the other elements, for example, in the correspondence. So where is this person an author or a recipient or a mentioned person? Yeah. And one thing I just managed to do quickly, this is not perfect, but it is a first step towards something that we need to think about, I think, maybe also during the next days. What I did now is, if you enter a person for the first time, or if you click on edit, it will query Wikidata, and it will either print here no Wikidata item is found with this name, with the name of Christopher Plantin, or it will present this queue number and a description, and then you have to still manually click in this field, and the queue number gets suggested. so this is a simple procedure. People would just click there and say, yeah, this is the one. They can also click here and then see, okay, this is Wikidata. Okay, this is probably going to be the correct one. And then you can click on the queue number, and you have the correct queue number of this person stored in your wiki. Of course, this is not perfect, because you might now say, why do we have to add then a birth date manually? Because you could also retrieve that maybe from Wikidata. But who knows? This is just a first step. And of course, out of the box from Semantic Media Wiki, you can use the property type external identifier, saying that I'm storing this queue number and I'm storing this URI where this $1 comes the queue number, and then you have it automatically as a clickable link. So this is the link from the research wiki to Wikidata. Very simple. Yeah, we have filtered lists. Again, thanks to Stefan. This is result format filtered, where you can see all letters in French that are listed in one of these institutions. You can filter your results with that. We have a glossary, semantic glossary, also by Stefan. We have tag clouds, where you also see persons that are mentioned in documents that have not been added yet to the wiki, or you can see persons that are very prominently in the wiki. This is a nice feature. We have filtered maps. Again, this is the filtered result format, because you can have a table view or a maps view, and you can see where this correspondence happens, and you can filter with the correspondence date. Makes a nice interactive map. There are also other maps that are not filterable, that use the maps extension that display the birth and death places of all persons mentioned there. Also a nice interface. And you can show some statistics, the number of letters per year. You can see in 1733 there are 35 letters now recorded, so that's the peak. You can see some institution statistics, for example. What are the countries of institutions that are mentioned? So where do the documents come from? Mostly from Italy. And this is also just a result format which does this statistics. And this is new. Maybe you have not seen this yet. A quite new extension has been developed by Jeroen de Daw. He has used this timeline.js library that is published by the Knight Foundation, and he has developed a MediaWiki extension. So there you have a much nicer timeline than we have currently, because the timeline that we have in the result formats is very old, and this one is much nicer. You can zoom in and zoom out, and you can click on next forward and back. You can display images and all that. So that's a very nice interface for browsing through this chronologically through these letters. Yeah, and one other feature, I'm using the page forms feature of what is it called? Query forms, yeah. So basically you input a name and you say run query, and then it runs a query and says Johannes Sambuctus, born here and there, has written 2 letters, and you can expand it and you will see these 2 letters, or his not received letters. He's mentioned in 1 letter, and there is another mermaid chart showing these letters. And interestingly, here we are doing the Wikidata query again. So Wikidata knows Johannes Sambuctus as Q, something like that, a Hungarian humanist. And in Wikidata, he's called differently, because he has his Hungarian name as main name. I don't know why this is different here, but this is the wiki for the numismatic researchers. They know him probably as Johannes Sambuctus. Yeah, so I think these are nice first ideas how we could interact with Wikidata. Of course, this should be improved, and there are several things to consider. But this is, by the way, this is done with the external data extension that can query basically almost everything. Yeah, so implementing something like this, I would say you are standing on the shoulders of giants. So thank you for, there are many extensions involved. Of course, there's Semantic Media Wiki. Of course, there's Media Wiki as the core. I mentioned Chameleon. I mentioned external data, maps, mermaids, modern timeline, page forms, semantic site, semantic glossary, semantic result formats, of course, and also your title icon extension is there, so you can see what is, with very simple icons, you can see, let me show, here. These are the statistics and the map, a map icon, but more importantly, the icons you have here on the first page, you can see. Here. You would see, if you look for some entry, you would see, is it a letter, is it a manuscript, is it a catalog or whatever. So very simple, just free images that were used. But yeah, the title icon extension is very nice, especially also when you search something in the search. And I think, yeah, this was it. I can show you during the next days. I can show you the real thing if you want to know anything. I just didn't want to publish an preliminary URL on a not so fast system. It will be published in the next weeks, I guess. So I will certainly tweet about that, and you will hear from me. Yeah, thank you. Do you have any questions regarding this project?
Okay, thanks for your talk. Maybe I've just missed that, but you were talking about that one Word document with 900 pages. 900 pages. How did you migrate this data? Was this done manually, yes, or was there some automatic process involved?
I tried to. We actually managed to export some of it also as wiki text. We did some attempts to do that, but the problem was that, for example, you can see here, every author is, in bold and italics, but it's not using any formatting rules. So this is formatted manually. So you cannot even say, go to the next section off. So I didn't manage to do it. And as, for example, it says here only the birth and death dates. But if this person is known, for example, in Wikipedia, you can look up the exact birth and death dates. So there is manual labor included anyway. So it is a manual process. And it will take some more time until it is finished. We have now I think 1,600 or so letters from 4,000, so something left to do. But this is done by the researchers themselves. So, and interestingly, maybe this is also interesting. Professor Kalatai, who did this document, I showed him this once. And then he's entering data. There is no teaching him how to use this, nothing. He has the URL, he has a username, he clicks on add letter, add person, he fills out the thing, and he clicks on save. There was a 15-minute introduction of where he can find what, and he's amazed, and he will just do that, and he's quite happy with the whole project. So this is how easy it can be. Yeah. Yes?
If I know, timeline was developed into the SKBit library, yeah? SKBit library by MIT.
Yes. This is the old one, yes?
Yes, and the base data is in JSON format.
No, this timeline basically works like this. You say in Semantic Media Wiki, ask category correspondence, show me the date and an image, and the name of the page, and format modern timeline. So the modern timeline extension is a new extension that in the long run, I guess, will replace the now existing result format timeline, because that's very old. So this is a much better JavaScript library, this timeline JS, but it works as a result format from Semantic Media Wiki. You don't have to fiddle with JSON data.
So this work now with semantic data directly from MediaWiki?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is a public extension?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Okay.
Then thank you.